Hello, everyone, and welcome to an unexpected separate part two of the fashion threads of the US Open. Welcome, Ian. Hi. If you're listening to this now, this is part two, but a separate episode. I recorded with Jessica Schiffer before this, and I thought it was going to be a combined episode, but we talked for so long, and it's such a great episode. So we're going to split it up, and you get a bonus 2-episode series. Aren't you lucky? Aren't you guys so lucky to have us talking about the fashion and the kits of the US Open? But I almost think, Ian, that this US Open deserves it. It has been a lot going on court with the looks. Let's get into it. But first, if you're new here, if you haven't ever listened to Ian and I talk about tennis fashion at Grand Slams, Ian, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. I've been, a little inactive on my social media lately, but I run 40 Love Tennis, which started as a mood board for tennis fashion about 5-6 years ago when really there wasn't anybody talking about it. And it's just so fun to do this podcast now. And, we're one of many that are talking about fashion. And there's actually, people asking for this, right? Because 4 or 5 years ago, 5-6 years, that wasn't really the case. And now, I mean, look at us.
Yeah.
It's a huge topic at every Grand Slam. It's a huge topic in the tennis and pop culture world right now. So it's fun. Yeah. I mean, I just kind of went from talking about it amongst my my followers, and I'm just kind of creating a bit of an internet forum there to talk tennis fashion and draw inspiration from the heyday of tennis and the golden age and the different styles and vintage aesthetics. And now I talk tennis with anybody that's willing to talk tennis with me. And I'm always happy to go over the fashion piece of it because, tennis fashion is booming right now.
Yeah, it totally is. It's kind of crazy. When I first asked you to do this with me, I didn't really think it would become a series. I just thought, wouldn't this be cool if we just, for one Grand Slam, just talk about this? And next thing you know, people are asking us to come back and talk. They're like, where is the US Open episode? So here we are talking about it. And if you're listening to this episode, it's great, fine. If you remember what the outfits look like, that's good. But I do suggest that you also watch this because we're going to have slideshows as well. If you're listening to this on Spotify, there is a video version of this on Spotify. But if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or a podcast player that doesn't have a video version, you can go to YouTube, to our YouTube channel, and we will have the video there too. Let us jump right into the slideshow because I feel like, these are long episodes. We get right into it. So let me share my screen here. And we're going to structure this a little bit differently. Now, if you have been listening, Ian, I was trying to count to see how many Grand Slams we've done. We've definitely done all 4 for sure.
Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe we've done 6 or maybe at least 5 of these before. But if you're new here, what we usually used to do is we would pick each brand. So Nike, Adidas, Yonex, New Balance, and we would just go through all of them, the different looks, what we liked, what we didn't like. We're going to do it a little bit differently this year. We're going to go through our faves, what our misses are, what our surprises are, and then our general overall opinion of the fashion that happened on court at the US Open. Let us know what you think. Join in the conversation as well, especially if you're listening to this on Spotify, on Threads. Jump in the comments. What are your faves? What are your misses, your surprises, and your overall takes on the fashion at the US Open? We would love to chat and know about those too. So let's make this a nice and big so you can all see it. Let's start with my faves. Let's start with what I loved. So usually this episode is recorded after the first round. And we do that because that's when you kind of seen all the kits is after the first round. I am so happy we waited this long to do this because Lorenzo Musetti debuted the look of the Open last night. He lost, but he won. Okay?
Yeah,
You're a winner.
He looked good while he
Man,
didn't look good on court. Yeah.
exactly. He looked good while he did not look good on court. But my goodness, did Lorenzo walk out with an all black kit that just was so excellent. He's repped by ASICS, so he's wearing an all black ASICS kit, but he's also repped by Bottega Veneta. Bottega Veneta are a fashion brand known for their leather goods. They are also known for the particular way in which they weave their leather. It's called intricat. I can't say it. I'm going to butcher it, but it's basically this woven kind of look. And if you look at the collar of his leather jacket, that's kind of what their signature is. And my goodness, did he look just fantastic yesterday.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought up how this episode's coming later than usual, and there ended up being some really good reasons for that. Or good, a good benefit to having it happen this late is like you're seeing a lot of players. This is one of the first Grand Slam tournaments where, first of all, players are wearing night kits and day kits. That's become a thing at the U.S. Open. So some players are just seeing night matches for the first time, so they're just getting to debut a different color.
Mm-hmm.
But also, not to jump, but you have Taylor Townsend here. There are players that are they're rotating kits. And we're going to talk about Osaka too, I'm sure. So yeah, this is probably the widest variety of outfits that I've seen at any Grand Slam. And, to break up this episode this way, how we're doing it now, instead of by brand, going by faves, surprises, our misses. I feel like, yeah, this is the only way to do it because you're seeing more brands than ever in tennis. So to go brand by brand, it almost doesn't work anymore because there are some brands that are only sponsoring one athlete right now. So yeah, there's just so many looks. And yeah, Musetti, the all black outfit, even just without the jacket, I thought the all black outfit was pretty nice because it has this kind of shimmery pattern on it that reflected. If you're just watching, maybe you don't notice right away, but when the camera kind of pulls in on him, Paolini wore something similar with the dress that she had. It was almost reflective in a way. And yeah, it was cool. I mean, it's great to see ASICS really bring something to the table here. And yeah, every time Musetti walks out in one of these leather jackets, I feel poor, but yes, they look amazing.
Yes, let's preface that because that jacket, look, that jacket, let's not even talk about the price of that jacket because it will hurt our souls. It really will hurt our souls. Let me just stop recording.
Yeah, for context, I wanted to look up the word for you, the intricciato. And
intricciato.
I'm just looking at it, and it's like I'm looking at a purse here that's like $45,000. I can't even imagine how much a jacket's gonna cost.
No, that jacket is minimum $10,000, and I'm not even joking. That is a minimum $10,000 jacket.
I can't wear
that. Yeah, let's go back to sharing so that we can cry. We can cry.
No, I'll fill in here too a little bit while you're pulling that up. Also loved Musetti's day kit. For me, it's going to be on my list of favorites. I thought that the cream color of the top that he had, the polo that he was wearing it was kind of like almost like a brown olive shorts. I thought it looked really nice. And he wears the headband and he wears the arm sleeve. And the white next to the cream shirt, I thought looked really nice. And I saw a really up close picture of it. I was kind of doing my like best dressed. And I saw an up close photo of the intricacy of the polo that he had on. And that cream polo had a lot of details going on, really similar to how this black shirt, the shimmery details that I mentioned. If you get a chance to look at anybody listening, find a good photo of that cream colored polo he had on. It has a lot of details. There's almost like a weaving underneath the collar, and that made it look like almost crocheted. I don't know. It looked amazing to me. He ended up being one of my best dressed of the whole tournament, and and definitely the night outfit in black as well.
I can't wait. When we get to your faves, I really do want to talk about that outfit because I looked so hard for a photo that you're describing. Every single photo I found, those shorts look olive. So it's so interesting because they're not.
He wore it during the day, so maybe the light played some tricks on me. But I was doing some stuff for my job where I kind of put together like a best dressed, and I was able to download some like press photos of it, and it was nice. It was really nice.
Awesome. Awesome. So another fave for me, just going in the list in the order that I wrote them in, is Sabalenka's day and night kit. They
Mm-hmm.
really, I think in general, when we get to our surprises, you'll find out that, let me break one of the surprises here for you, is that Nike is one of my surprises. But I
Uh,
really what Nike did, I like what Nike did for Sabalenka this year. Usually it's just basically she has a different color from every other girl who's a Nike athlete, but it's the same style. And this is the first year where I think she has just something completely unique to her. And I like the design. I like the little sort of like iridescent details that are on the dress with the pink detail on each. But I really like what they did for her here with this black and white day and night kit.
yeah, I got a lot of messages about this one. I agree with you. It's very early 2000s kind of Maria Sharapova.
Mm, I
And
see it. I see it.
I think a lot of people kind of see that and almost, it's 2025. It's crazy to think of early 2000s as nostalgic, but it is like this is more of the type of cut that you would see kind of in the early 2000s, and I think it really worked for Sabalenka. I'm not huge on it. I don't know that I love it the way that everybody else did, but it's nice to see, again, just kind of adding to the variety here, a player that's now getting her own outfits. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Next on my list is Taylor Townsend's Flames. You know,
hell yeah.
Taylor Townsend is, predominantly known as a doubles player, but she also plays singles. And she is the number one doubles player in the world and is not sponsored. She does not have a clothing sponsor. And she took matters into her own hands in this Grand Slam and made her own kits. She
Hmm.
sort of made them and she actually sold them pre tournament to people. She like customized a few pieces and sold those. But of all the designs she had, and you kind of mentioned it a bit in the beginning, because she had a whole plethora. There are just so
Yeah.
many different iterations of her designs. I liked the flames the most, and not just because I'm an Aries, so I like flames in general. But I do like the black on the flames, but I also like the meaning behind it. She was asked what it means, and for her, it's all about a phoenix rising. And she's just had such an incredible resurgence at this tournament. It's one of her deepest runs as a singles player at the US Open. She's in the finals of the doubles. She's been in the finals before, but this is one of her strongest chances to win the doubles championship. So I don't know. She just had such a moment this US Open
Yeah.
that I thought this dress and the sort of meaning of the Phoenix rising and all of that was not only such a great look, and especially I'm a sucker for a long sleeve crop. Like I
Mm.
love a long sleeve crop. So this whole look, I really did like it, not only for the look, but for the meaning as well.
It matches her personality. She played some of the most fiery matches of the
Mm,
entire tournament. So it was very fitting. Some of the most memorable moments of this tournament come from Taylor Townsend, including how she responded to the drama with Ostapenko at the end of their match. I don't know if you got a chance to hear her comments, but I don't know that I've ever heard a mic drop harder in my entire life. She articulated herself in such an unbelievable way, speaking on behalf of her community, and it's just such a role model. And I mean, if I didn't love the outfits, which I did, but if I didn't, I kind of walk away from this such a huge fan of hers, and at least being like, yeah, those outfits were her. It is her personality. She's fiery personality. She is extremely fiery on court and just really represented herself really well out there. So amazing. Yeah, loved it.
yeah, yeah. So I think we share this fave, which is Venus Williams wearing a custom ELR dress or ensemble. I think it's a top and a skirt and a jacket. It's a custom look that pays tribute to Althea Gibson, who is being celebrated this US Open for her 75th birthday. And It is such. I picked this specific photo because I did talk to Jessica Schiffer, who runs Hardcourt, in the conversation before. I do recommend following her. She's really great in following sort of all the fashion of tennis and lifestyle as well. But I mean, other than the fact, again, very similar to Taylor Townsend, where it's like the meaning of the dress is even more so important and the reason why I love it than the style of the dress itself. But I love the simplicity and the beauty of the dress. And then you add the whimsy of the furry racket bag. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't take it. It's so perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a sucker for anything that just kind of pulls on the heartstrings of history of tennis and heritage. She looks great in this, custom visor and everything too. It really looks the part. It looks, in the 50s and 60s, like players are wearing like heavy cotton. And obviously they made this more functional, and yeah, it's great. And yeah, the whimsy with the, I knew where you were going with this, with the furry racket bag. It's like, you just had to put a little touch of Venus in that.
Yeah, no, it's really really perfect. Another one of my faves is, and this one I'm sure will be very controversial, and I can't wait to get into it with you. But Sinner and Alcaraz, love it, love the looks that they have because it's them. So Carlos Alcaraz has the sleeveless look. For the daytime, he has this pink sleeveless with the purple shorts. Nighttime, it's purple on purple. And then they walk out with sort of like the matching jacket for day and night. Sinner has the sort of red burgundy, kind of like a dark red for the day. He has the navy blue for the night. He has been rocking this arm sleeve that he actually doesn't need, but he loves.
Yeah.
And he alternates the color for day and night. Same thing with the matching jacket and the hat. And I love it. They're both very basic. They're the most basic kind of like Nike looks that you can think of, but it's them. Because Alcaraz, of course, he's wearing a sleeveless top. Like, it's Alcaraz. He's showing the guns, he's like, look at my muscles, I shaved my head. Like, it is so him. And then with Yannick, it's so like, I have a proper collar, I'm so buttoned up. I'm just proper. I'm going to win this match 1-1-1, and then I'm going to go to sleep at a proper bedtime. And, it's just like, I'm the prince of tennis. And of course, he's wearing his Gucci by head bag. I love it because it shows their personality. And I don't mind that it's so simple and it's just who they are.
All right. So we're going to have our biggest disagreement here.
Yes.
And should I save it for when we get to the Mrs. slide? My Mrs. Does it have Alcaraz on there?
Okay. Yeah. Right. You can save it for that.
I'll save it.
Okay.
I believe I have Sinner on my favorites. I like the colors. I like the midnight blue, especially the one that he's kind of wearing in the evening there. Just a really bold color, which I really like. The reason it is boring, it is simple, but the reason that I point out the Nike this year that he's wearing is I looked kind of more close. I wish I actually had this like in person, but the collar that Sinner has, it's a buttonless polo, which I haven't seen any other brands doing that. Wilson might have had one last year, and Lacoste had that weird one that was kind of like almost like a soccer thing that like Medvedev was wearing, how it created like a weird like triangle at the front. I don't know.
Right.
It had a weird collar. Nike went with the V cut, but there isn't the polo buttons or the zip that you're used to seeing on a polo. And I thought that was a nice touch. I don't love the outfit. I'm going to put it in my faves because I think the colors are good. I like the burgundy kind of clay. I like the midnight blue that he's wearing. I like how simple it is. But the collar is what I wanted to point out. I will talk about Alcaraz later, but for Sinner, one thing I will agree with you on is they're walking out and doing their interviews in this kind of satin zip-up jacket that matches. And the satin creates this nice little shine to it when they're doing their interviews or they're walking out on court. And I like the outfits more when they have the jacket. I think the jackets are great colors. They look nice. They look good quality. So I'm going to agree with you on that piece of it for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And then my last fave before we jump onto you is twinning doubles team. This, I've been asking for this forever. I think it's what should happen. We're one step away from putting their names on the back of their shirts. But this is what I think doubles needs, because in tennis, this is our one opportunity to have teams. And I think it's the one way to separate doubles from singles and make it like a true separate product. Because with singles, it's like you can attach yourself to a player. You're like, okay, I love Sinner, I love Alcaraz, I love Naomi Osaka, or I love, Coco Gauff, whichever it is. With doubles, I think you need to take them as a unit, as a team. It's easier, in my opinion, to take them as a team if, one, they stayed together for a long time. Two, you know who they are as a team. It's almost like when you think about the Bryan brothers, I don't know that it's Mike and Bob. I could not tell you who Mike is or who Bob is. I just know them as the Bryan brothers because they were a unit. And seeing this many doubles teams in uniform, quote unquote, was awesome this US Open. And here we have, Bolelli and Vavasori, the doubles team, Italian doubles team. They have always done this. They've always matched. They look great doing it. I love their sort of Tiffany blue hat. Usually in this photo, they're not doing it, but usually what happens is one of them wears their hat backwards and the other one forwards, which I always think is fun. You have Tracy and Cash, who are a young American team in the pink. They're a new team on the scene, but they're already in this sort of like matching pink and black, which I love. And then you have Gabby Dabrowski and Aaron Routcliffe from Canada and New Zealand. They always match. In fact, this US Open, they've won different kits. This whole US Open, like every single time I watched them play, it was a different kit, but it was the same. So they both wore the same thing, but different every single time I watched them play. I don't know. I love it. I don't know what you think, but I love the sort of like doubles matching situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's, that's actually a really novel idea. I don't know that I've heard anybody else say that before, but like that is a really interesting way to differentiate doubles from singles. And you mentioned the Bryan brothers. I'd love to throw out Murphy and Luke Jensen. Anybody who's not familiar, put that into your Google and you want to see some crazy outfits. I mean, these guys were wearing like Scooby-Doo shirts. Like they are hysterical, and they were hysterical on court too. So, not to make doubles like a gimmicky thing, right? Like we already saw that with the mixed doubles, shots fired. But yeah, sure. Doubles outfits to differentiate, I think is a great idea. Matching, contrasting, getting, letting their personalities show in that. I think that could be really fun. I've never heard somebody kind of position that as like, hey, this is a way we could differentiate, but they should. Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. Because a pet peeve that I have is when there are literally 4 people on court wearing 4 different outfits. And I'm like, oh,
it doesn't look
goodness.
good.
It just, you're like, oh, okay. You know what I mean?
Right.
I feel like it's our one opportunity to have a team sport, and you don't see a soccer team and everyone has a different outfit.
Yeah.
There's one team and another. So
that's a really good point. I would love to see that.
Cool. Okay. Let's go to Ian's fave. So we've kind of talked about the Venus Williams kit. I don't know if you want to say anything more, but again, just completely love and adore that.
Yeah. No, also Venus has been wearing different outfits during the doubles as well. I know her and Leylah Fernandez aren't in it anymore, but she was turning out looks there too. So definitely go check those out. Yeah. I won't take too much time because I know we got a lot to cover. We talked about Musetti as well. I'm a bigger fan of the day session versus the night session. So if anybody didn't see him in his day session outfit, definitely go take a look. I think that actually might be my favorite outfit for the men of the entire tournament. So
the day look?
Yes, that's how highly I put that one up. And I have not heard anybody talk about it. And I don't know why. More people are talking about Djokovic's night look. And I agree. It's a great look. I thought the all black, I think that's a theme this year. That was a
A
theme for
lot of
me
black.
at the beginning of the year when I didn't post about this, but I had my like what's in for 2025. One of my big ones was blackout kits, and I actually had some friends at Reigning Champ send me some stuff too. So shout out Reigning Champ. Yeah, Novak Djokovic's look is great. There's some nice detail in the fabric. It almost looks as if the stitching creates a bit of a checkered pattern.
Mm.
And there's gold trim everywhere, which is kind of like oozes luxury. And then it's just like capped off by the fact that he's sponsored by Aman, which is on his shoulder or on his arm there. Gold trim on the ASICS shoes. It just feels really regal. Like everybody's trying to pull on the, or match the Darth Roger look this year.
Yeah.
And I thought Djokovic did it the best with the blackout outfit. So definitely was one of my favorites. And I think it's also aided by the fact that he uses a all black glossy head racket. It just all looks good to me. So yeah. Djokovic was definitely at the top for me. I don't know how you felt about that one.
Yeah, no, I think, I think pretty much all of the big three, they've had their blackout moment, right? Because Nadal had his too. And I think he just never had his. Yeah. I was expecting him to be the only one this tournament to have an all black look. And then all of a sudden it was like, Taylor Fritz came in, and then, Musetti had his. And I was like, guys, this is supposed to be Novak's all black moment. Why are you all stepping on his all black moment? But no, I liked it. I liked it. From the moment I even saw the images of like the promo and stuff about, all that stuff coming out, I was like, Darth Novak is coming. Yeah. I see how we're going to do this.
Yeah.
But I really liked it. No, I really like it.
Yeah, that was a standout for me. I think if I were to pick a women's favorite for the whole tournament, I thought Sorana Cîrstea New Balance outfit was top notch. New Balance, we've talked about it on a few episodes. They seem to have really figured it out between some of their athletes. Tommy Paul's looks, like, it's simple. They're picking good colors too. Like they're picking, this is kind of almost like I don't want to describe it as aqua because they did aqua for the Australian Open. This is almost a little bit more muted, maybe closer towards a gray almost, but not too much. So it's not too different than what they did for the Australian Open, but I like the striping. Cîrstea's outfit, when you look at all the small details, it's not just the top and the skirt. There's a nice blue trim on the socks. She's wearing matching shoes. She's wearing a matching hat. She's wearing matching wristbands. And I think when you can complete a look from top to bottom like that, not only does it look amazing, but you give people like us who we want to buy this stuff. Like we want to wear this stuff. I don't want to just buy, there's a really cool pair of shorts, but I don't got anything to go with it, right? You want to give people opportunities to accessorize and kind of fill out the look. So that might have been my favorite outfit for the women. I don't know if you agree with me on the New Balance side. They have a couple other athletes sponsored too. I can't think of the names off the top of my head, but yeah, Cîrstea.
Yeah, I think that they've really, and we'll talk about this actually when we get to some of my misses, but I think in terms of brands, I like to see a collection. Yeah. I like to look at all of the athletes, and even if it's not the same, it doesn't even have to be the same color sometimes, but I want to be able to look at all the athletes and be like, oh yeah, the same people designed that whole look. I like to see a collection, and I think that's what New Balance has kind of nailed, starting with the Australian Open, following in sort of the footsteps of a Wilson, for example. And I really like their detailing. Like you said, it's like everything looks put together. The skirt goes with the socks, goes with the top, goes with the hat. It all looks like one piece that fits together, So I really like what New Balance is doing, and they don't get actually talked about that much, and which is interesting compared to sort of like a Wilson, where I think Wilson, sort of blinks and everyone's like, wow, everyone's like freaking out. But I would sort of put this look, for example, in the same category as a Wilson.
Yeah. And I actually just bought my first bit of New Balance gear. I was looking for some nice like mesh jersey shorts, and they're selling the 5-inch shorts now. For a while there, they weren't selling shorts that were short enough for me. And I took a flyer on a pair of black ones. I said, let's see if these are any good, and they were nice, inexpensive, amazing. And now I'm ordering them in all 4 colors. So I love what they're doing. And it's like, you're comparing them to Wilson here, and we'll talk about Wilson in a second. But I do think it's important for a brand to kind of pick an identity and one that kind of also mirrors their athletes. And I think, I'm thinking of Tommy Paul here, especially, like, they're going for a very casual athletic look, and
Yeah.
they're not trying to be, fancy or done up, or we're not a luxury brand. New Balance is a running company first. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that the outfits that they're putting together and the looks that they're putting on their tennis players, it looks like a company who just right now kind of knows who they are, and they're locked in on that, and they're not making things that don't work, right? Like it's
Yeah.
very casual. And we got Coco Gauff on the screen here. She gets her own outfits. And I've, for the most part, loved almost everything that Coco Gauff has worn over the last few years. There's been some color choices with her custom line of shoes that, like, I haven't been a fan of, but she was wearing, some a combination of white, red, and like a magenta almost with a crop fit, which I thought looked really good on the courts. And that was kind of also a theme this year. It was butting heads with Nikes, who is Nike. All the women for Nike were wearing the exact same colors. It just so happened that Coco pulled it off better. So yeah, I also have Coco Gauff here in my favorites because I thought this looked pretty good on her.
Yeah. No. It's interesting you say that, because again, with New Balance, totally different colors for Coco, different style. But if you put her in a photo with Christea and Tommy Paul, I would be like, the same company made all those clothes.
Yeah. Really
Where
cohesive. Yep.
yeah, where with some brands, I'm like, huh? You're just like, where did that one come from?
Right.
I do love what New Balance is doing and where they're going with things.
Yeah. And I'll quickly go through Wilson because Wilson ends up on our list every single year.
Every
I'm
time.
actually a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
disappointed that they don't have better representation on the men's side. Maybe they just haven't had as much luck with the success of the players they've picked. They have Nico Jari, they have Tarante, they just picked up Colton Smith, who I'm really high on. And I'm excited to see, if they start rolling him out there in some nice outfits. But for the most part, we're always seeing the Wilson women outfits, and they're better anyways. So we have all three on here, at least four that were in the U.S. Open with Alicia Parks. You have Mboko on here, Peyton Stearns, and Kostyuk, and they're wearing the Wilson red is called infrared, which is, I do think it needs to be pointed out the difference, because if you wear something that's all red, it looks red. It looks bright. It's very loud. The Wilson red, almost it's a soft red without it being pink, which is really hard to pull off in a fabric. And I love it. I love that, Peyton Stearns has her thing. She's wearing the shorts with the crop top, but it looks really cohesive with what Mboko and Kostyuk are wearing, with the kind of the flowy dress with the collar at the top there, and it's sleeveless. So yeah, Wilson always kind of knocks it out of the park with the women. Love to see more men for Wilson kind of have some success and put them out there in some outfits, but the Wilson women looked great as always.
Yeah. Didn't realize they signed Colton. That should be exciting, because I'm high on him too. I think he's definitely next up on the rise. Okay, I think it is time to start with the misses.
Yes, I love this.
I mean, should we start with our common miss?
Yeah, let's do that.
Vuori.
Yeah.
Vuori. Jack Draper. Okay, here's some news that Jessica Schiffer gave me that I didn't know. I don't know if you know.
She was one of the first to kind of break the news. There were some rumors because he was seen practicing in Vuori.
Yeah.
And I actually saw it on her account first, and I said, "Wow, look at this! She's in on the scoops."
Yeah. So she was one of the first. I think I actually saw it with her first. I was like, oh, interesting. And then you started seeing it popping up everywhere. And, from my perspective, I was kind of like, I get it in the sense that he's now a big star, or, he's getting there. I understand not wanting to be third fiddle to Sinner and Alcaraz, because Nike will always pick Sinner and Alcaraz, and they will maybe think about Draper. Not even really. And then there's also the money. And apparently the money was $8 million.
Yeah, I heard it's like one of the largest deals. It's their largest deal for sure.
So if they're paying you $8 million, wear fabric that sweats like that, sure, I guess. I mean, right. Yeah. Oh, sure. I just can't deal. It's not, no. It's a no for me. The patchwork shorts that I put under Ian's miss is a no. I
Mm.
saw that in person because he played that during one of his first matches, and I was like, no, that's a no. The pattern doesn't work. It looks even worse in person. And then this one that I put under Anastasia's misses, which he was training in, it just doesn't sweat well. It doesn't hold this, it doesn't wick well. I don't know. Just everything was no.
Yeah, well, okay. It's a miss in that if this is your introduction to tennis fashion and being a brand in tennis, it didn't land for me. I agree with you on the shorts. Where I want to see more from it for sure. Like they're obviously they have this deal. Draper is dealing with some injuries. We'll see how much he ends up playing for the rest of the year. It might just kind of be like a reboot in 2025 situation and see what they bring to the table. First of all, he looked massive with the sleeveless when he's out there.
And I don't even know. I was like, did you gain weight, my guy? Or like,
He
what
looked like
in
the
the
Hulk.
world?
I'm in on the sleeveless, and I'm actually wearing a sleeveless today to kind of be in solidarity with all the sleeveless that's happening at the U.S. Open right now. I'm in on that right now. I saw somebody say that they paid him $8 million to go out there and look like a frat boy or something like that. Like, it is very frat boy, okay? Like, you're going sleeveless. He's a big jawed, muscular looking guy, and he's kind of wearing a taller cap. I thought that the cap looked a little awkward on him. It was like somebody that I was talking to compared it to like a piece of cardboard, and like it was big. It looked a little weird, and the branding for Vuori was way too big on the hat. Not the best introduction. So I put it as a miss because I don't think they really made the splash that they hopefully would have wanted, and especially because of the fact that Draper, had
pulled out.
Yeah, pulled out. But yeah, it just didn't really work for me. Where I think they did it right is he's the only one wearing a sleeveless that actually looks boxy on him. And it reminded me a little bit of how the ASICS outfit looked on Musetti. Musetti's a lot smaller, but they kind of had that like sleeveless boxing kind of almost like a warm up sweats top on him, and he's a little bit smaller. Draper's massive. He looks like a boxer. So I'm glad that he's wearing a boxy sleeveless, because in my misses is Alcaraz's skin tight sleeveless.
So for you, it was the cut of the sleeveless for Alcaraz.
I think people got I'll give my Alcaraz take now, unless you have anything else to add about Vuori and Draper.
Well, okay. I guess the only other thing I will add about Vuori is this is not their first intro into tennis. They rep Marcos Giron.
Oh, that is right. Yep, that's right. He was, that's right.
They've been around.
They have a type. They have sleeveless, big-armed men.
Yeah, so they do have a type, but even the V that they have on the wristband, I'm just like, what sort of V is that? It just, so I wasn't impressed. But again, when I heard the word 8 million, I was like, okay, wear it then. Yeah. I get it. I understand.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
we'll see where they end up going. I mean, I find their regular athletic gear to be a little boring too. They kind of were like one of those brands that they had the e-commerce boom, the D2C boom during COVID, where they made their fortune and kind of made a name for themselves selling D2C on Instagram. They were one of the athletic brands, and everybody was trying to buy stuff that they could work out in at home.
Yeah.
And in general, I've found most of their stuff to be boring. So I guess I shouldn't really be surprised that they're stepping a foot into the ring of tennis is also boring. But
right. Okay, let's do Alcaraz.
Yeah, all right. I'll give you my take. I don't disagree with the love of the color. I think the royal purple especially, I'm not big on the hot pink. I saw some people complimenting the hot pink matching the accents on the shoes. Okay, yeah, great. So they coordinated for once. That's awesome. Most things look better when you can kind of have that coordination throughout the whole outfit. I'm not big on the hot pink look. I thought the royal purple looked better on him. It definitely, with the jacket, I'm like, okay, like this is just top to bottom. All this really, this purple stands out on court, and it stands out on him. I think he wears it well. But I think that's where it stops for me. People are kind of all about this color, saying how, it's so him. I think he looks. I mean, the shaved head doesn't help, but he looks like an action figure. And the cut of the sleeveless is way too tight for me. Again, like I think if you're going to wear a sleeveless, it should hang a little bit. It should be a little boxy. And I just think people are a little too hung up on the color and how it looks on him to take a step back and say, it is actually just Nike doing exactly the same thing that they've always done, except it's in a color that just pops and it looks good on him. And it looks good when he does it in a monotone way where it is, or monochromatic way where it's all one color and it
Right.
really stands off the screen. But I'm not into it. And like, I think I've argued with more people than I've had agree with me, and that's fine. Maybe I'm aging out of this conversation. I don't know. It's just not for me though.
No, I get it. Like I can understand, but for me, and I think where I disagree is that I truly believe that this is Carlos Alcaraz's personality.
Mm.
And because, for example, if I was a boy, if I was a boy, like I wouldn't wear that. Like I would be the Jack Draper.
That's
I
my
would
point
wear
though.
the
But that's my
boxy. Right. My style would be the boxy, maybe slightly more open arm,
yeah.
sleeveless. I just don't think that's Carlos Alcaraz. Like I think that's him. Like he's the like tight, you know, sleeveless look, shaved head,
Yeah, but then
look
you
at
look
my
at what he wears.
muscles.
When you look at what he wears off court, and he wears boxy
That's
cut
true.
off, and he wears big baggy sweatpants. He wears the look that I'm talking about when I'm talking about,
You
he's
know,
very fashionable off court. And then on court,
I
it's totally
yes.
different.
You know what? I kind of that's what we're missing is a photo. And what I will probably do is just clip in and insert a photo of, I don't even know what that is from. Do you know what that Nike 90 cutoff is that he wears in practice?
Oh, the red one with the
It has like a big
pastel or the
90.
I don't know, because I've been seeing one that's like red and it's got like primary colors on the front of it.
Yeah, I've
So
seen the red one too, but
yeah,
there's this almost like it's not white. I think it's almost
mm-hmm.
like maybe it's a baby blue or maybe it's an
Mm.
off white. I can't really tell from the photos, but it just literally has like a big 90 on it and then like a piping V. But yes,
Oh
that is a
yes,
boxy. That is a
yeah.
boxy sleeveless as well.
Give me
You're right.
that. Like put that
Yeah.
total 90 dry fitness sleeveless. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a little bit yes. Okay. Yeah, I have seen this and I've seen that kind of like strange seam that's on it. I've been seeing that a little bit lately too. Like moving the seams around into different places seems to be a thing.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, you see him off court, and I think he typically has become a pretty fashionable person. And I look
Yeah.
at his outfits off court, and even when he's practicing, and then he doesn't wear that on court. I'm not. Yeah, wasn't for me. Willing to be in the minority there, but whatever.
Yeah. Okay. What else? Okay. Tiafoe Lululemon. No,
Mm,
absolutely not. No.
yeah,
No. Like, I don't like, first of all, I do think red and purple were the color of this US Open. It
yeah.
was a lot of red and a lot of purple. But why the tiger stripes? Like what why? It's just so
So
weird.
yeah, it is weird, and I think for most people, this is just going to come off as like totally hideous. But what I like that Tiafoe's been doing is he's giving every tournament so far since he's been with Lululemon, he's been doing a monochromatic look that's really head to toe. And I think
Mhm.
similar to what we're talking about with Alcaraz, I think it just makes you stand off the court in a really dramatic way. He had, it must have been, was it French Open? He had the Smurf
The blue. Oh my
that
gosh, that was
popped off the
gorgeous.
screen. You know what I mean? Like that was a great color.
Yep.
People are going to object to the the tiger pattern. Understandable, right? Like when we're
Yeah.
talking about these outfits here, we're also I do like to sometimes look at things through the lens of like you said, this outfit worked for Alcaraz and and his personality on court, and it works for him. Am I wearing it off court? Absolutely not. So I think there's two different ways of looking at these things. Am I wearing Tiafoe's outfit? Absolutely not. But it's bold.
Yeah.
And if
I mean,
Tiafoe likes it,
yeah.
okay.
The thing is with this is later on in this slideshow, I'm going to show you an all red, you know,
Yeah.
Lululemon kit that probably he should have worn, that would have matched that all blue look that he did at Roland Garros. I just, the tiger thing just threw me off. I was like, why? Or because a lot of people were just like, Sabalenka? Like, it was just... The tiger print
Sabalenka
was,
should have had this on.
Should have had this. You're just like, it's not... You haven't referenced tigers before. You know, I think it was the sort of pattern of it. Like, maybe if it was something different, it would have maybe made sense, but it was just all of a sudden tiger stripes. And you're just like, all right, you know. So this was a no for me. Another no for me, because I'll do this really quick, is on. Like, I just can't anymore. Like, it just, for me, it's just the same but different. You know, there's like, now I think there's pixelation on it, but it's just the same as it looked, as it always looks, in my opinion. And I don't know, I think maybe at this point, people might think I'm being harsh on because they're always on my miss list. But I don't know. I don't know. It's just the same. It's the same pink. It's the same black. I don't know. It's the same.
I thought the changes that they made, I liked. And I can get into it with the Ben Shelton night kit. I don't. After the misses, what are we doing next? Are we doing overall
after
takes?
misses? We're doing surprises.
Okay, all right. Then
I wonder if I put. Yeah, I think I put a photo of Ben's night kit in there with the sleeveless, because he had a sleeveless one. I think I did. I hope I did.
All right. Well, we'll come back to it. Definitely remind me if it's not in there.
Yes.
So just to kind of put a pin in misses, my last one was the entire Y-3 Adidas.
We're going to fight on this. Like, we're going to...
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Sure, that's probably better for listens.
Yes.
It did nothing for me. I was struggling to find...
How is that possible?
Because I don't know what they were going for with the flame smoke look. I don't really like it. I don't like the colors they chose. I thought Adidas was kind of going in the right direction after Wimbledon and what they did for their Wimbledon outfits. Definitely showing a willingness to bring in some of these other brands to do collabs and spice it up a little bit. But I don't have much to say other than when I was going through my best dressed and I was like, all right, maybe it's not for Felix. Who else? Let me look at it on Jessica Pegula. Let me look at it on some of their other players. At no point did I ever stop and say, you know what? That actually looks really good on them. So no, I wasn't a fan. And then I thought what like really killed it for me was when you saw like Tsitsipas wearing an all black. That just kind of watered down the whole collection for me, because they kind of went for this look and this asymmetric pattern and design and everything, but then some players just wore a black top and I was like, oh well, then it's just not cool anymore. So yeah, it just didn't do much for me. That's really, I don't have much else to add other than it just didn't do much.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. It was, and I know this specific collection was very polarizing. You either loved it or you hated it. There was no in between. And especially sort of like the purple wrestling outfit.
Oh yeah.
That definitely was also a look that was not for everyone. Even like not everyone could wear that. Like
we're talking like the Mukova purple or?
No, not the Mukova purple. Like the Mukova purple was like sleeveless and then shorts. Anyone could wear that.
Are you talking about Sakari's leotard looking thing?
And Camila Osorio. On Camila, I didn't see Sakari wear it, but on Camila Osorio, it looked gorgeous. She could pull that off. Like, not everyone could pull off that look.
I'm looking this up because I thought that was the worst thing I saw all tournament.
Look up Camila Osorio with her long ponytail and that look, and she looked perfect. You need the right proportions too. Like her torso to leg proportion, it just looked great on her. I like the shade of purple that they used for that side of the collection. And then with the white, and what it is it's basically if you put ink in water, like that's the pattern it would make. Mm-hmm. And that's the print that is on the side of the white collection. And I liked it on the dresses. On the guys' shirts, it didn't translate as much. But on Jessica Pegula's dress and on Diana Schneider's dress, which I saw up close in person, I liked. And I don't know, like I was so shocked by the amount of hate this dress got, because everyone was like, it's a poop stain, or and I was like, are we looking at the same thing? Because it's so clear what it is when, and I, again, this might be something where it's like it doesn't photograph well. So that
Yeah.
might be a thing. But up close, you're like, you can see the sort of like details of it. And I
Hmm.
don't know, this was a very, very polarizing collection that I
Well,
thought,
I mean, they bring
hmm,
up a good point on how something looks on TV versus seeing it in person. I think a lot of the stuff that I've seen in tennis, like when you actually order it and you have it in your hands, sometimes things just feel and look a lot better. And that might be
right,
the case
right.
for the Adidas, but well, I'll definitely agree with the fact that it looked better on the women. Like when I was putting together my best dress, like I pulled a photo of Jess Pagula. I was like, she does look good in this, right?
The cut of the dress is gorgeous. Yeah,
Yeah, and so that I'll give you that. Like I think the women's stuff looked a lot better than the men's stuff, and maybe it did look better in person. I mean, I'll take your word for it. I don't think it's something that I would be buying. I mean, you get into like kind of an interesting conversation when you talk about like, well, what are we judging this based on how it looks on TV, or are we judging it based on how it looks in your hands? And
true.
on TV, like it just didn't do much for me. I'm looking at Camila Osorio's outfit here. It's better, but what Sakari had on, I thought was the worst thing of the whole tournament. So
Oh man, worse than like Barbara Krejcika's shift dress? Like it did not. And it's so funny because in this photo that I put here is almost like not that bad when you look at it.
yeah,
In person, I was like,
no,
what is she wearing? Like it's like a column of a dress.
yeah,
So it doesn't fit her form, and you're just like, it moved weird. Just
hmm,
was, it was almost like she was a hanger, and then the
mm,
dress was just like floating in the wind. And it's kind of, it's one of those things where I can't even explain it. I almost wish I could show a video of it and how it moved in person, because it did not look good. This was one of the ones, and it's made by Head.
yeah,
Who knew Head makes clothes? But
yeah. We're seeing them for the first time. Very simple stuff this tournament, but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, but no, I did not like this dress on Barbara Krejcikova. She played great, but the dress did her no favors at
yeah.
all. Do you want to talk about like the worst moment of this tournament ever?
Worst slash best. I mean, we don't need to spend a ton of time on it because
Ugh,
it wasn't so much of a fashion choice as it was just a mistake on Taylor's part. Going into his match against Djokovic, the buzz around the match, can Taylor Fritz break this 0-10 losing streak that he has against Djokovic? Is it now finally his time? And he goes out there with his headband upside down, which already, I'm sorry, the headband on him makes his head look like a block. Taylor Fritz is a very attractive guy who, when you see him on the fashion runways, or when you see him, he did one of those New York on the street interviews. Hey, sir, what do you do for a living? And he looks
yeah,
phenomenal. But then you put him in his boss outfit, and somehow we make this attractive runway model look like I don't know. The move to Hugo Boss for me has always puzzled me because I don't know that he looked better in his Nike stuff, and I
yeah,
hate
he
Nike.
did.
So
Yeah,
that's all I have to say. The upside down headband was hilarious, and his tweet afterwards was funny too.
yeah, yeah. That's all we have to say. Surprises. There are a few. There are a few
Yeah,
surprises, but I think our collective surprise was the way this ASICS fabric shimmered in the night.
yeah,
It's so good.
yeah. We talked about it a bit when we were talking about Musetti. Paolini doesn't always wear dresses. She often wears a shorts combination.
Hmm.
So I thought she looked really good. I thought like I don't know, there was something she was playing such inspiring tennis too when she was wearing it. Like maybe I just was a little captivated by that. But she's such a bubbly, flashy personality, and like you would think like a black dress with her personality would clash in a way, right? Like it's dark Darth, Djokovic, and it
Hmm.
almost makes sense because he goes dark in his matches sometimes. But like for Paolini, it's like the ASICS logo is like kind of pearlescent pink almost, and then the shimmeriness of the dress and her bubbly, fun personality. She was playing incredible tennis in it. I was like, oh, this is amazing. The way it kind of like flowed, and it gave her some breathing room. And she's really short too, so like, yeah, I don't know, it worked for me. And so I'm glad you had it on your surprises, because ASICS has missed and maybe been in our crosshairs a little bit this year.
Yes. Yes, they
But nice to
have.
see them finish this tournament with a really nice collection.
Yeah, no, they really have all year. So for them to like show up like this is, incredible. And what's really funny is like she actually, players don't usually talk about their clothing in press. I think players like maybe Naomi Osaka, which we'll talk about shortly, and Venus Williams, yes, they do. Also Taylor Townsend, just because it's been such a focus of their stuff. But Jasmine Paolini is not someone who talks about her clothing
Yeah.
in press. She literally said she likes playing at night because she likes her dress. And we like it too, Jasmine. We like it too. I did not put Shelton's gray kit on here. My apologies.
All good. All good.
I will insert a photo while you talk about it, though.
Okay. You want me to do that?
No, I'll put it post when I'm editing.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I mean, do you want me to talk about Shelton's outfit
Oh,
now?
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Okay. Okay.
yes, yeah.
I put it under my surprises because I would totally understand why somebody wouldn't like it, because it's not too far of a departure from what we've already seen from them. Okay. So they shifted the gradient, whatever on the shorts to the other side. What I woo,
Groundbreaking.
yeah, it's pink, it's black, it's white, it's whatever, everything that On's done so far. The reason I put it under my surprises is because I like that they had the night kit. Instead of just going to a black, they went with the gray. I thought that the gray and pink played really well together, and he's wearing hot pink shoes and black socks. What I think stood out to me the most was the gray that they put in the night session. And then when I downloaded a high-res image of it and you really looked at the gradient, it was actually pixelated versus what they've done in the past, which it looked more like a spray paint. And I think it was meant to look like spray paint, right? It was like, they started with that pink X. This had like almost a computerized pixelated gradient to it that I'm a sucker for gradient. Like I use it a lot in some of my designs too when I've done stuff for the Ojai. I thought it was a nice little touch. So I put it under my surprises because I thought the night session stood out better than the day session for Shelton. But I just wanted to highlight, I actually really like how they pixelated the design. Just little things like that do make a little bit of a difference. Maybe if they started with that, we would have liked it more.
Yeah.
It's still not a big enough departure from what they've done in the past to be like, oh, it's a win for me. Definitely not. I'm not calling it a win. I totally get why people would find it ugly. But yeah, I thought some of the details with like the pixelation was kind of nice.
Yeah. One of my surprises is this Yuri Lehecka Navy. Like I was watching, it was the first time I watched his match on Louis Armstrong. It was his fourth round just before he got into the qualifying. And he came out in this navy kit, and I was like, what is that navy? I literally said it out loud. I was like, what is that navy?
Yep.
And he's sponsored by Lecoq Sportif, I think they're called. And it's just such a great navy. It's different. It's not like your regular navy. It's great. And then with the white piping detail, I love everything about it. I love every single thing about it. So I had to put it on there because it literally surprised me as he walked out on court, and it just looks good on him too.
I 100% agree. We haven't really seen much from Lecoq Sportif. They also, I don't know if they still sponsor, name's escaping me, Italian, not Caboli, not...
Arnaldi?
Anyways. Rinaldi, yes. Sorry, thank you.
Arnaldi, yeah.
The best thing that they've put out was at Indian Wells. It was a royal purple, and not in the way that we're talking about that kind of like fuchsia, magenta-y that Carlos has on this year. They were wearing like a royal purple, deep purple. And to me, this outfit kind of falls into that same category of a very bold. It's beyond navy. It's kind of, I was calling it like midnight blue. I don't because it's so dark, but it looks really good, and the piping is nice. So it's a surprise. It's not a slam dunk home run. There's they don't have a lot of athletes. They weren't turning any heads, but the color is really nice. And it looks really similar to the blue that Sinner is wearing at night as well, which we agree looked really good on him. So
Yeah. A combined surprise that we had was Townsend's custom line. I think when she announced it, I wasn't expecting much. Like, I really wasn't. I was like, okay, cool. Like, I just didn't even know what to expect. And what she brought out and the variety of it, there are just so many of them. I think she wore a
mm-hmm.
different one like almost every day. These are three different ones here. A lot of them were animal themed. So, yeah, I really did love what she did. And it's just crazy to me that she's a number one doubles player in the world and isn't sponsored. But at this point, I'm almost sort of like, do you like go get
Yeah,
your
oh yeah,
bag and like, who
yeah.
cares if you're, actually go build your own brand. Forget about being sponsored at this point.
Yeah, I mean, if she can, she's definitely made a lot of fans, and she has had a lot of fans too. But she might have made more this tournament. So if she's selling more merch because of that, good for her. Forget needing to be sponsored by a brand. Make your own money.
Yeah, yeah, totally. So I had Nike's little jackets was what I put as one of my
That's the note.
surprises. And they just had all these little walkout kits with these little jackets, and I couldn't find one of the specific ones that I really wanted to put. I'm going to keep looking, and in the editing process I will hopefully have found it and it will appear on the screen that you're looking at right now. But Mira Andreeva had like this little cropped silver jacket. Arina Sabalenka had a long sleeve version of it. Here you see Emma Raducanu in a red version. I think there was also a blue version of it. I like this growing, idea of a walkout kit
Mm-hmm.
because it wasn't a big thing before. It was just like whatever sort of like warm up jacket, hoodie, whatever it was. But I'm seeing more and more of it and more personalized to the player. I think, this is totally different, but I think Coco Gauff was wearing another leather one this tournament, like a brown chocolate one.
Yeah, she was. Yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, so I'm just loving these kind of little jackets that they're walking out in now.
I love little jackets as a term. That's going to be the name of my tennis brand. Yeah, Nike was fine. They didn't really offend me. I again, purple and red seem to be a theme. The jackets that the players are walking out in. Emma seems to always kind of go with the old school Nike court stuff, which I really appreciate. She seems to really like that look, and she's kind of always walking that stuff out. So yeah, more fashion moments. I mean, that's why these podcasts have become, what are we at, an hour and 10 minutes long, because there's so many looks now. And it used to
Yeah.
just be everybody walked out in the same thing or didn't walk out in anything special and everybody had the same thing on. But now we're talking about, 5 or 6 different outfits per brand. So yeah,
Yeah.
nice to see some personality.
Yeah. You had here as one of your surprises the Sabalenka custom kit, but I think we talked about that in the beginning, how
Yep.
it's reminiscent
Yep.
of Sharapova. So let's get to our last bit here, which is our overall takes of just the US Open in general. You had one here. Your first one was men's sleeveless.
Yeah. So the purists and the people who follow me on 40 Love, who really only like vintage inspired, very classy, regal looks that tennis was known for, are going to hate me for this. But I am in my sleeveless era. And I don't want to toot my own horn here, but at the beginning of the year, I said sleeveless, blackout kits. And last year I said red, and we've been right, for 2 years now, red is like a color. So I'm in my sleeveless era. It is 95 degrees here in California. I got to air out these armpits. If you're going to wear a sleeveless, though, Carlos, I get it. You're Mr. Muscles. Like, just leave a little breathing room in there, just a little bit. Like, I play tennis in sleeveless every once in a while. And yeah, I just like it to hang a little bit baggier. But sleeveless is having a moment, and I think it's not just, it used to just be Nadal, and he's the only guy out there wearing a sleeveless. There's a lot of men's players wearing sleeveless right now, and I think it's back in a big way, and I don't think it's going anywhere for a bit. So
Yeah. My first overall take is, why did everyone hate the Adidas Y-3? Like, why, guys? Why did we do this? It's not that bad in person. It really isn't. And I think everyone just jumped on the hate wagon like right away with the whole like it's a poop stain thing. It's not. It's it's supposed to be like ink is
Mm-hmm.
what it's supposed to be like and look like fossilized amber. Again, follow hardcore. She's got all the details for you. But yeah, it's actually gorgeous in person. I prefer the women's looks to the men's looks.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't hate on it. It's because I think also we want these brands to keep trying new things. We don't want them to just go back to wearing black shirts and blue shorts. We want them to keep experimenting and doing new things. And not everything's going to be to your taste because that's why everyone has different tastes. But I liked it. And I don't think it's as bad as everyone was saying.
Well, I will add on to that with one of the other bullet points that I wrote down, which is I thought the women's outfits for the US Open were better than the men's pretty much
Mm,
all the way through. Of course, I have my favorites on the men's side and have plenty to talk about. But I do think top to bottom, the women's outfits really showed up. And that might not have been the case all year or even past Grand Slams. This year, I think a lot of the times there was when this transition to making tennis fashionable again. I think it was all male focused at the beginning, and you were
yeah.
seeing a lot of the men wearing new styles and new outfits, and the men were getting some of the brand deals. That's flipping right now, and that's kind of awesome. It's great for women's tennis. It's great to see the variety that we're seeing. So one overall take that I have from this U.S. Open is that I thought the women looked way better than the men's outfits.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. Another point for me, it was red and purple. Everything,
Yep.
everything was red and purple. And this red Lululemon kit on Ethan Quinn here is what I think
So good.
Tiafoe should have been in. It's like monochromatic with the red shoes, the red armband, the red socks, his skin tone. It would have
Yep.
been great. I just didn't understand the pattern. I just didn't understand the tiger pattern. I'm sorry. So that didn't really work for me.
Yeah, purple and red, obviously the color of this tournament. I'm a big fan of red. I've kind of started to stockpile my own reds. A lot of Wilson gear, and yeah, I hope it stays around. I think red's really bold. I think it looks great on court, and and because red can't be washed with anything else in the wash. You better get more than one piece because that's what I've started to do. I'm like, well, I got to have a whole load of reds if I'm going to start wearing red stuff. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad that it's here.
What else did I? Okay, I will end on this. Individuality stood out this tournament.
Yeah.
There were just so many different looks from different players that when I looked at certain players, I was like, that's that player. You know what like I would look at someone. It comes back to sort of like the whole Yannick and Carlos. I would look at them. I was like, well, that's them. That's them in a nutshell with what they were wearing. Even with this photo here of Thomas Mahak with his short shorts and his colorful shirt, that's just him.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
just what he would wear. That's what would be in his closet, in my opinion. And I love that because I think we need to start seeing that in tennis fashion versus just the same Nike dress on 7 different girls.
Yeah.
It would be lovely to start seeing the players' personalities in the things they're wearing.
Yeah, and it's something that you and I have talked about a lot on past podcasts is just their just a need for variety. I've been asked before, when I was really, really heavily engaged on 40 Love with having these kind of conversations, I've had people ask me, okay, you've got all this critique for tennis fashion. Where does it go next? And I think I answered this question maybe, 3, 4 years ago. I can't remember, but I had a whole conversation about the only way that tennis fashion changes is if the players begin to have their own agency over the choices that they have, the brands that they sign up, to be sponsored by. And because tennis has kind of become this runway of sorts, and there's so much attention, and the viewership is the highest that it's ever been. It's bringing more money to the sport, but also every single brand wants to piggyback off of that. And I've talked to some people about this. Maybe there's some unintended consequences with that. Maybe there's brands that aren't really invested in the sport. They just want to be relevant and be a part of it while it's hip and cool or whatever. But it's bringing more money to the sport. It's bringing more eyes to the sport. And it's allowing players to pick and choose where they decide to have their sponsorships with. And they're going to brands. And this is what my prediction was like 3-4 years ago. I said tennis fashion changes when players choose to go to brands that don't have as much restrictions and they can have input on what they're wearing. And you said it. I think that is what we're seeing. We have players out there wearing their own gear. We have players out there wearing custom kits with the brands that they're with. We have players who are rotating outfits every single match. I mean, when have we ever had that in tennis history? And it's making these conversations about tennis fashion exponentially more interesting. It's making these podcasts go longer. It's bringing more eyes to the sport and different people to the sport. Yeah, tennis is having its fashion moment the last few years, and we are seeing it play out on the courts and in the fan weeks. It's great.
Yeah. No, I love to see it. I love to see the growth. And it's incredible that in the year that we've been doing this, that we've already seen that trajectory. And I can't wait to see where it goes even next season for sure. Wow, we've done it. This has been a long one for sure, but we really would love to hear from you guys. I think that's the great part of this, is also hearing, what did you like? What were your misses? Did you also all hate the Adidas? Am I living in a bubble of myself, me, myself, and I probably am too. And what are your overall takes? What would you love to see more of in the tennis fashion landscape? Would really love to hear from you guys. I do truly, I'm so grateful that we can have these conversations every Grand Slam, because I love seeing the growth of it, and I love talking to you about it because it's fun. And you're also the only person who will talk to me about it.
Oh my gosh, I can
for
go on
for an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's been another marathon. Loved every minute of it though.
Thank you guys again. If you're watching this on, YouTube, Spotify, wherever, please subscribe, 5 stars, give us a rating, let us know your thoughts, leave a comment, send an email, carry a pigeon, whichever it is. Please follow Ian on 40 Love, because I know he says he's not active, but once in a while he'll just do a dump and drop a whole bunch of photos. And it's really fun because I really do love just going through those vintage photos. It gives you inspiration. I'm always oh, that's a look I can use. I can use that look. Thank you guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
See ya.